So just like in the video, we're going to make our own models to really get an understanding of subtracting, what happens when we subtract integers. So if you look at the example, 8 minus 6, notice there is a model where there are 8 and they take away 6. This is something you've been doing forever. I'm going to go ahead and do number 1. I'm going to draw 9 positive tiles on my mat. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I want to take away 2 of those. So then if I take away 2 of those, clearly we can see there's 7. Pause the video, answer numbers 2, 3, and 4, and then come back, and then I'll give the directions on the next part. Okay, so now we're going to look at subtracting with 0 pairs. So you just watched the video and you saw how there were times when in a subtraction problem, first of all, you want to remember that we're always taking away from something. You have a starting amount and you're either taking away from it or you're finding the difference, okay, between two things. Specifically, we're going to focus on taking away from something. So if you look at the example here, you see where there's 8 positives and they want to subtract 10 positives. Well, do I have 10 positives to take away? No. Therefore, that in the video, it showed that you're going to be able to add 0 pairs. Adding the 0 pairs is going to not change the value of what you have, but it's going to allow me to be able to now take away those 10 positive. A good way to think about it is if you have $1 and you change it into 4 quarters. I didn't change the value. I just changed the way it looked in order for me to put that money in the vending machine. Okay. Once I add those 0 pairs, then I can take 10 away and I'm left with, I can look and see what I'm left with. And that's what you saw in the video. I'm going to do number 6. So if I have a -1, can I take 2 positives away? Now, the reason I know that's a net positive is because there's not a number in front of it. Okay. -1 minus -2 would either look like that, or -1 minus -2 would look like this. Okay. Remember, they will always have the negative symbol there with the number if it's actually negative. I don't have 2 to take away. Draw 1 negative tiles on the mat, which I've done. Do you have 2 positive tiles to take away? Well, my answer there would be no. How can you put 2 positive tiles on your mat without changing the overall value? Well, we know we can do that by adding 0 pairs. So I'm going to add 2 because I know I need 2 positives to be able to take away. Okay, so now I can, so I've added 2. How many take away the 2 positives now? So if I take away the 2 positives, you can clearly see that I actually did -1 plus -2 is what I'm left with because I'm going to combine what I have left over, which gives me -3. Okay. Pause the video and go through 7 through 11. Make sure you're reading and answering all the questions. I do want you to add this piece right here onto it just so you can see what you're actually doing, because later on the last page, you are going to have to give the rule. And the way you're going to be able to determine the rule is you're going to be able to see a pattern with what you are creating each time you set up these problems, and your answer is no. Okay, remember on the first page, hey, I can subtract those, no problem. But if I have a problem and I can't take it away, then I'm going to have to change some things about that problem by adding 0 pairs. Okay, so think about that as you work through the problems. Pause the video and come back after you finish number 11. Okay, so now that we're down to number 12, 13, and 14, the first question says, why are 0 pairs important? Think back on what you were able to do with those 0 pairs. Why was it important? Think about it and respond to this question. Number 13. Do you need 0 pairs to solve the following? -2 minus a -8. So we're only doing negatives, but if I only have -2, can I take -8 away? Use a visual to support your answer and answer that for me. And then lastly, number 14, because we know that our numbers are going to get larger and we're not going to be able to just sit there and draw our positives and negatives, we've got to figure out the rule. What is a rule that works for subtracting integers? What did you notice you end up doing on all of the subtraction problems that your answer was no? Okay, anytime your answer was no because you didn't have enough to take away, what did you end up doing? Okay, think about that and come up with your rule for that one.